Okay, hi guys. So in today's video, I want to take a look at some current clients and basically look at how their programs differ. Because we quite often sort of joke that, what's the best thing to do for my back pain? Is that my answer is it depends. So I really want to look at today a bit of an example of what that would depend on and how that kind of affects the program going forward. And probably the biggest thing, although the injuries, injury history, a person's abilities, physical abilities to do certain things, all affect it. Probably the biggest influence really is going to be your end goals, because the problem is not so much the back, it's what the back is, the back pain or injury is stopping you from doing. So, once you've built a reasonable foundation in sort of basic exercise, such as things like Stuart McGill's Big Three and glute control and those sort of things, then really the success lies in tailoring each program then to each person's particular outcomes and goals. Because we know strength is both specific and perishable, and exercise are just tools to help us develop particular strength skills. So here we're going to look at 3 different programs and just give you a bit of an idea as to how they all kind of differ and what sort of stage each person is at. So first of all, here we've got Stephen, who's in the early stages of his rehab. So we can see here we're assessing his walking gait. So he's got a very classic back pained kind of walk, very stiff shoulders, lumpy small steps, slow with his head slouched. So we had to do some work on his walking gait to help his back. And here we are sort of week 3. So we're working on bracing technique here, getting ready to do some McGill curls. So normally that's one of the things you might start with, but Stephen actually tested positive for compression sensitivity, and it actually got worse when we added bracing to it. So we've had to sort of work on some glute work and some shoulder work first of all, let things settle down, and now I can come back and work at this fundamental skill. So again, right tool for the right person at the right time. So here we have Aymee. So Amy's a bit more further along in her rehab. She's actually a keen triathlete looking to get back into sort of regular competition. And she had some issues with her left ribs in particular being very sore, particularly after sort of running, and she'd hit a fatigue point and her kind of posture would collapse. So here we're using proprioception walks to help build that proprioceptive skill and all the muscles around the actual spine itself. So muscles, things like multifidus, for example. So we use this to kind of overstimulate the muscles, and then we're going to practice a skill similar to running. And in this case, we're using skipping just for convenience. But that simulates that impact that we would get from running. We have Dean, who's a keen golfer, so we need to do lots of work on rotational stability for him for his golf swing, in particular getting his hip and his shoulder to cue at the same time, so he rotates about the hips rather than through his spine, which will mean a better, stronger, longer golf drive, but also less back pain for him as well. So there we go, so 3 different programs for 3 different clients. We want different outcomes and different goals at slightly different stages in their rehab process as well. But it gives you a bit of an indication as to how different programs between 2 different people they might have come in with initial injuries might be as they progress, because they've got those different goals and different outcomes they want to achieve. But the most important thing is always to remember that we've got to try and, exercise are just tools. We must select the right tool for the right person at the right time, and those things are going to change as we move through someone's program. Those things are going to change. So the right tool is probably going to be different as we go along, as time changes, and as the person's skill and their foundation, their injury recovers and heals and gets better. Things are going to change as well. We can be a bit more demanding and progress things a bit more towards their actual end goals. The most important thing is to always keep in mind where you are now and where you want to be, and just making sure as we get from A to B, we've picked the best tools that are specifically selected to get you towards those end goals.